Hello, Pete. So it's been a few weeks, I think, isn't it, since we've recorded something. I think it was after we lost against Man City. How are you doing?
Yeah, well, I'm okay. In relation to Forest, like it's been pretty good as well for us. It's been pretty good. Not so good for you guys. I was looking at the table today, and I couldn't believe how quickly things have swung around against you.
Yeah.
I think the first time we started chatting, which wasn't that long ago, it just wasn't like we're talking month and a half. Like I think you still had a sizable lead at the top of the table, and you were just about to play Southampton. And I think the energy was still that you guys were going to win the league. It was yours to throw away. And it's pretty bleak.
Yeah.
Look at the league table now. It's just like I knew that Man City had pretty much won it, and then I just looked at the league table again today before we did this, and I realised actually they have fucking won it. Like,
Yeah.
unless they lose both their games or lose and draw, I think it is, right?
Yeah, I think it is that. They got, it's basically done, mate. It's done. It was, it's done. It's been, I mean, when they beat us a few weeks ago, we spoke. It felt done at the time. It felt done because of the way the match went and stuff, and the way the momentum was swinging. But it wasn't actually done in that moment, if that makes sense. Because we then beat Newcastle, we then beat Chelsea. But since the Brighton game, since we lost at the weekend, it is done. They've got to lose. So they got 3 games left. Yeah, they've got to lose 2 and draw 1, I think, to give us a chance.
I know it's bleak. I'm going to use that word again. It just looks. But then I listened to a little Arsenal podcast just to touch up on things from an Arsenal perspective, and a lot of them were saying that actually, like, if they're digging deep enough with honesty, they kind of saw it coming. Because Man City stopped losing; they just kept winning, and they just started this charge like about 3 months ago, and. You guys were you started faltering a little while ago, but you were still plugging out wins. So I'm wondering from your perspective, like if it is crushing to be in the position you're in, or if there's an element of like it's disappointing, but if I'm honest, it doesn't surprise me. Like.
Yeah, I think it's probably a bit of a mix of all of them. I'd say. Like, I think it's crushing to the extent of, like, we were like 8 points clear probably about a month or maybe about 6 weeks ago. We were 8 points clear, I think, with a game in hand. And and I also heard a stat the other day that we were top of the league this season for about 260 days or something, and that's the most. No team's ever been top for that amount and not won the league in, like, English football league history.
Yeah, I know.
So that's pretty crushing. But at the same time, I think there was always, even when we were 8 points clear, I was saying to myself, like, it's 50-50. It could swing either way. And I mean, I think that Man City have won so many games in a row, and even if we would have kept, our momentum going, we still would have had to have won every single game, apart from City. We could have afforded to lose to City, but we'd have had to win every other game. And I just don't think that was not going to be possible, really. I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
And I guess there must be some solace in the fact that they're just so good. Did you watch them play Real Madrid? Did you watch the game?
No, unfortunately, I saw the highlights. Yeah.
It was like a computer game. It was unbelievable to watch Real Madrid get dominated as much as they did. So you've given up the title, but they're insanely good. So
exactly. The way that they dealt with Real Madrid, I guess, made sort of our battering seem a bit more like palatable. Yeah, because they've done that to Real and to Bayern, I think, this season. They're just like miles above everyone in Europe.
Yeah, they really are. They
They
really
really
are.
are. And I think actually you guys are the last team to stop them from winning in the league.
I know. I saw that as well. Yeah, it's. I just think like maybe as a perspective change, the fact that you've led them for so long in the season shows how fucking good you are as well. Like,
Yeah.
I just wonder. I wonder if like if you had an imaginary time machine and you could go back in points in the season, what would you if you had like if you had the manager's job, what would you have done differently to have amended this season?
Yeah.
Was there anything? You know, what did you lack? Like
That's such a good question. Yeah, I think yeah. I mean, Arteta's had like an amazing season. Obviously, like he's barely put a foot wrong really. But I guess when you have to analyze everything, you could probably everyone kind of makes one or two mistakes, right? I guess the Liverpool game when we were 2-0 up, and that was kind of the first sign, right, that that maybe we were starting to sort of lose our nerve a bit when we gave that 2-goal lead away. I think we were 2-0 up, 2-1 up, and Zinchenko, he's been amazing this season, but defensively he can be a bit shaky. I think Zinchenko was being given the runaround in that second half, and he could have taken him off and put Tierney on, but he didn't do it, and Zinchenko ended up getting someone went past Alexander Arnold, I think, went past him. They ended up scoring the equaliser. I mean, he brings Tierney on, we might still draw that game or even lose it. But I guess that was maybe one thing that he could have done a bit differently. And if we saw that game out, things might have been a bit different. But as I say, yeah, City have just been such a juggernaut, as we both said.
Yeah, I think it looks a bit like just depth of squad as well. Like, you know, you haven't got bad depth, but then you're looking at players like Rob Holding, which we've spoken about already, and Kirill, who's come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then you've got and Ketia backing up Jesus. So like it's like you've got some pretty decent depth, but it doesn't compare to Man City's. So you're going to have some like tired legs and some fatigue, and you're getting some injuries. So maybe that's another area. Like just bolstering the squad with a few more world-class signings. That's what you've got. It's what you've got to do.
Yeah, 100%. Champions League next year, and if we want to compete with City, yeah, we've got to. There's a lot of talk that we're getting Declan Rice, which I think would be an amazing signing.
Yeah, big.
That would be big. Yeah, we've got to do that. Otherwise, yeah, we're not going to be able to compete with City. You've got Foden, Mahrez, and Alvarez on the bench.
It's unfair. It's unfair. Yeah.
It is. But another thing I was going to say as well about City, I think, because when earlier on in the season there was all that talk about were they a worse team with Haaland and stuff, and also I think it did seem a bit like I mean they've won the title 4 out of the last 5 years, soon to be 5 out of 6. Like it seemed like they may be losing a bit of motivation maybe with the league, but I think what's happened now the last few months is that because the treble's been on, like their motivation has just come like flooding back.
Yeah. That team is so united, and I think City get a lot of criticism because, like, the easy cheap shot to throw at them is that they've just bought their success. But it's not as if Chelsea haven't spent sickening amounts of money. It's not as if Man United haven't spent sickening amounts of money. It still requires like really good management, and it requires really, really good tactical nous. You've just got to like sometimes sit back and appreciate what Pep's done.
Yeah.
It's really easy to just say, oh, he's got everything at his disposal. If I'd win the league if I was managing City. But I think teams like Man United and Chelsea prove that you need more than just money.
Yeah.
We're veering off.
No, definitely. I mean, it's obviously they wouldn't be where they are without the money, and this, I guess, all their like potential rule breaches and stuff are, it kind of is a bit of a caveat, I guess, to their success, I would say. But yeah, like without Pep, what did they? I mean, it's almost. I think they won the league twice. Didn't they won it with Mancini. They won it with Pellegrini. So they had won it a couple of times. But since Pep's come, it's just been basically it's been domination.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
He just took them into like another level, which we hadn't yet seen in the Premier League, I don't think. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, I just thought I'd add that because I've often held a bitterness towards Man City because I just feel like out of nowhere, they've just literally just spent their way into the top four. But I don't know. I heard it on a podcast the other day, and I just thought it was a really good point. There's lots of teams that spend a fuckload of money and they don't do anything. They're not as successful. So it's still a remarkable job that he's done. But yeah, so I guess like it feels like talking to you about Arsenal, it feels like a remorseful chat, as if like the next two games are kind of irrelevant, which is good for me. But like, do you feel like that's the case? Is there no part of you which is thinking maybe?
No.
I mean, imagine the scenes. I'm not even going to go there. But like,
yeah, no, I've grieved. I think I grieved after the Brighton. Well, I'd already started, but I grieved after the Brighton game mainly. I think, yeah, it was done after that. I mean, they're not going to. City are not going to not win one of their last three games, are they? I think they've got Chelsea at home on Sunday, so I can't even see them not winning that one. But have funnier things happened? I don't know. I think this might be the maddest thing that's ever happened if City didn't win the league now.
Here's a scenario that the only scenario I can think of which wouldn't be 1,000 to 1. Like Chelsea beat Man City, which looks highly unlikely given form. But if you pull form aside and just look at squad depth and talent, they've got enough talent to pull off a victory. Man City, again, very unlikely. Let's say Man City draw their next game, so they've got a loss and a draw.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which means their final game. Who have they got in the last game of the season? Do you know?
Yeah, Brentford away, I believe.
Okay. So then it's pinned on Brentford beating Man City, and it's also contingent on you winning your last two games.
Yeah. So well, there's maybe a 0.05% chance or something.
I don't know. The way I put it just then just makes it sound slightly more plausible. It's not likely. I'm just.
Yeah. You know what? All this does is it just makes me feel even worse about some of the results we've had. Because even despite us losing to Brighton, losing to City, drawing with West Ham and Southampton, we're still in a mathematical chance despite that.
Yeah. So you kind of want it over, don't you?
You want it over now. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I do want it over.
That's what I heard in the Arsenal podcast. Actually, there was a few people on there that sort of said they were kind of relieved in a really weird way. They were kind of relieved once you lost so convincingly to Brighton. It was kind of like this is so convincing as a loss that I'm almost at peace with it. Like, it's not like they stole the last minute winner or nicked a draw from you. Like, you just got beaten and. Easier to resign to the fact, I guess, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, it's easier to accept when you're just like well beaten like that, right? And I guess there's some of the what's the word? Deficiencies, I guess, in the team were quite clear to see on that day. Just like quite over reliant on Zinchenko as well. When he's not playing, we're not the same team. Because Tierney can't do the same job, basically. He can't come into midfield and dictate the game. Even though he's a better defender, he can't dictate the game.
Yeah. Little word on Tierney. I think he's actually played quite well the last few games. I think he's looked good of what I've seen. Like, I don't think he's to blame at all. I mean,
he's not. No, he's not to blame. He's a good defender, and I think, well, Man City and Newcastle both want him. So I guess that indicates like the quality of him. But he's not the way that we're playing now with the Zinchenko coming into midfield. Tierney can't do that. He's just sort of an up and down fullback. So it's different. Yeah, he can't replace. It's not like it's like for like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, how crazy is it? Because this is from my perspective, and we'll move on to Forest in a sec. But like from my perspective, it seems like that moment against Liverpool when Xhaka just squared up to, who did he square up to? Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It feels like that moment was the pendulum swing.
Yeah, maybe.
5-minute moment, that energy shift at Anfield, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a bit of a shift there. It was, but I mean, they also they scored right like a minute or two after that. So
but the argument is that Xhaka riled the stadium up.
Yeah.
And the whole talk, I think, if I remember rightly, before Anfield, and Arteta's kind of obsessed with Anfield, isn't he?
Yeah.
The whole talk of that was quieten the Liverpool fans. And you would, and I remember watching that game, and you were doing it so well. You were playing a perfect match against them, and then Xhaka goes and headbutts Alexander-Arnold and gets the whole Merseyside on their feet. Like,
yeah, it was stupid. It was stupid. But that, to be fair, that was when we were 2-0 up there at Anfield. That was probably one of the only times where I was like, okay, yeah, like we're actually going to do this. We're actually going to win it. That was probably when I really allowed myself to believe, and then it all went wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say you've enjoyed the season?
Yeah, I think.
That's honestly.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's I was having this conversation with my mate. Actually, he's also a big Arsenal fan, and we were like, when we were sort of beating everyone in like October, November, it was so enjoyable. It was like, this is amazing. We're just smashing everyone. And I was saying to myself, like, I said to myself, if we're in the title race, then I'm just going to make sure that like I enjoy it because it's been so long. But when it actually comes to it, it is far harder to enjoy because of everything that's at stake. So I would say the last couple of months haven't been enjoyable. Even when we were still winning, but we were like scraping wins, it just really felt the pressure. But pre-World Cup, and I'd say a month or two after the World Cup, I was able to enjoy it. Yeah. But it's a good question. Yeah, it's hard to enjoy when the stakes are so high, right?
Yeah, it's just like I sometimes feel with football, and I guess for me as a Forest fan, it's kind of similar, that you spend all your time wanting to be top of the league. Like you're at the pinnacle of English football. If you're top of the league, you're at the pinnacle of English football, and you guys have been there most of the season, which you have spent the last 15 years wanting to be at. Yeah. I kind of observed Arsenal fans just maintaining this sort of low-level, mild stress all season instead of like I don't know, but like I get it, because like Forest have spent 23 years out of the Premier League, and now we're in the Premier League. It's kind of agonising.
Yeah.
Like, no, just fucking enjoy it.
Right. But you're not. I guess it's quite. We can sort of go into Forest now, right, and stuff. And I guess like it's now and at this stage, like you're not gonna be able to enjoy it when the stakes are that high, right? Like you've got to. I mean, tomorrow's game is essentially, it's like a cup final for you, really, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, the last 2 or 3 games have felt like cup finals.
Yeah.
And we've played really well, and out of nowhere, it feels like out of nowhere, we found a team that looks half decent and cohesive. And that's unsurprisingly, that's been our biggest problem all season, given the amount of players that's come in. It's just finding this first 11 that just looks gelled and together. And with the right blend, especially in midfield. We just haven't ever really quite got it right. We've had moments in the season, but we haven't ever really quite got it right. And then out of nowhere, Danilo has obviously settled into England, and he's started to show his class. And players like I don't know how familiar you are with our squad, but players like Mangala in midfield, and having Ryan Yates back has just made us look like such a better unit, and harder to play, and way more threatening on the counter attack. So yeah, we've gone from this sort of this really depressing position where we just looked so vulnerable, and we were like on this terrible run, to suddenly looking like a half decent outfit. Exactly. You know, I'm hoping it's going to keep us up. And you could argue we found it at exactly the right time, but it is a little bit late for comfort to find a first 11 that looks. But yeah,
yeah. Then again, I guess you bought. Yeah, I mean, probably you should have stumbled across the first 11 before, but you just bought so many players, right, as well, and so many new arrivals, and yeah. But to be fair, your home form has been like pretty good all season, right? I'm just gonna have a look and see where you guys are just in terms of like the home table.
That's up there.
12th if it was just on home games.
Yeah.
Well,
that's not right up there, is it? That's like
yeah.
But
I thought it might be a bit higher, but you're 20th away. Sorry.
Yeah, no, away is shocking, but I don't know if you've watched many matches at the City Ground before.
Not loads and loads. No, probably like a few, but yeah. Obviously, but you've beaten us twice in the cup recently, so obviously watch those games.
It's a crazy atmosphere.
Yeah,
it's mental. Like it's a real sort of amphitheatre kind of vibe. It's really loud. The supporters are really passionate, really loud. I don't know every supporter say that.
Yeah.
But it honestly is, and that's what's seen us through, and that's what's, I think, more than anything has separated us from Leeds, Leicester, and Everton thus far, has been the fact that we've kept our manager, we've had that consistency, and the fans have never turned. There hasn't been a moment this season where the fans have turned. So every home game's just been upbeat and positive. And I think teams like Everton and Leeds and Leicester, they've had these, this kind of toxic atmosphere drift in that inevitably affects the players. So Forest have managed to avert that, and I think Steve Cooper's got a lot to be praised for that. But
yeah, and I heard on a podcast as well that apparently your guys' pitch is quite small as well. It's quite narrow.
Yeah, it reminds me of Highbury actually.
Yeah.
It's very similar. It's I'm sure there's a name for those styles of stadium, but it's a similar style to Highbury. Kind of the stands look similar. Traditional English stadium, and it's a small compact pitch, and it's perfectly set up for our style of play, because it feels like in two passes we can move defense to attack, and that is our game. So yeah, no, undoubtedly, our fans and our atmosphere at the City Ground has been just invaluable. You can't put a price on that. You can't put we wouldn't be in the position we're in without that.
Yeah.
Because there's been, jokes aside, there's been points in the season where we have been in disarray on the pitch, utter disarray, shocking really. There's been a few embarrassing matches to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been home games. We've literally we've been chanted through by the fans. It's massive.
Yeah. And what was that?
I didn't say it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and I mean So basically, your away record, you've got. Do you know how many points you've got? I don't expect you to know off the top of your head, but do you know how many points you've got away from home all season?
It's probably like 6, 5, 6,
Yeah, that's 7.
7.
Yeah. And I guess you got that point against Chelsea. So I mean, that's shocking. The away with 7 points from 18 games, but then so you're obviously bottom of the table, but at home you're 12th. So if it wasn't for your away record, yeah, you'd be up there more towards mid-table.
Yeah. And at times, we've looked like a mid-table club.
Yeah.
Looked hard to break down, and we've looked threatening going forward.
Yeah.
It's just the sheer amount of players we've had to incorporate. There's so much more to football than just playing 90 minutes of football.
Yeah.
On a Saturday or a Wednesday, like.
Yeah. Did you ever used to play FIFA Ultimate Team?
Do you know what? That's the one thing I've never really done. I've never really got into consoles.
Oh, okay. Well, there used to be like basically you could buy sort of like you could get different players from around the world and stuff. There'd be like a team chemistry thing at the top, and you see the chemistry go up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when you buy as many players as we did, you can try and buy on character to the best of your ability, but you're going to get a few nutters. You're going to get a few loose cannons. Like it's inevitable, and I don't think you can underestimate having played in, even being a part of teams in life, in the office, and in other areas of life. You can't underestimate how disturbing one loose cannon or one sort of disruptive personality can be on a group of players, and that has to have happened to us this season. Like it won't have been broadcast, or we might not have known about it, but that would have been going on in the background, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's been your player of the season this season? Do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. It would be between Gibbs White, Johnson. Yeah, Gibbs White and Johnson I think the fans would go for. I don't know who I would. I would lean towards Gibbs White just for his consistency. He's stayed fit. He's racked up a fair few assists, and I saw that he was like near the top of the charts for goal involvements. I think that's what they call it now.
Right.
As a stat. Like how much he's sort of involved in the build up to like goals and chances and stuff like that. He's right up on top of the league tables. He's just been really consistent, and it's his first full season in the Premier League, so you have to take that into consideration. He's just been really impressive. And Brennan Johnson. Go on.
Yeah. No, so I was going to say I've always liked Gibbs White. I remember seeing him when he was young at Wolves, and he always looked really talented.
Yeah. He is. He's a real talent. There was always a question mark as to whether he could swim consistently in the Premier League, and there's been a few patches this season where he has kind of gone missing, but that's kind of understandable. On the whole, he's been really influential. And a mainstay in the team, and I think as well, Brennan Johnson, you have to be impressed. With the goals he's come up with and the assists he's come up with, and his impact in the Premier League, like being as impressive as it's been, considering that 2 seasons ago he was playing in League One. So
that's interesting, isn't it? That's actually kind of before they always used to talk about that big jump from that Championship to the Premier League and stuff, but and a lot of players struggled with it. There's a guy who's I can't think of his name now, but what's his name? He used to play for Cardiff, but I'm not going to get his name. But anyway, yeah, they were always.
How are we talking?
Maybe 10 years ago.
Rob Earnshaw.
Maybe Rob Earnshaw. Yeah, could be. Yeah, he could be one of them. There's definitely players who always used to score loads of goals in the Championship, right, and not be able to translate it to the Prem.
Yeah.
But in recent years, it's a few more have done it, which I think is quite interesting. Like I guess Brennan Johnson, Ivan Toney as well, done it last couple of years.
Mitrovic.
Mitrovic, yeah. That Norwich striker as well.
Yeah,
Pukki. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's been quite a few players that have done that recently.
yeah.
Just a point of
That's been really positive, really positive. And it's those players that have managed to kind of, because they've been ever present since day one of the season. So those players have kind of managed to stay riding that wave of momentum from getting promoted. There's been other players that have come in, that are worthy of mention, like Felipe came in January, Navas came in January. They've been great. And you could tell that their experience has kind of organised us a little more. We look a little bit more assured on the pitch. But you would struggle to give them player of the season, given that they've only played since January. So, yeah. And then you got like Taiwo Awoniyi, who's, I think he made the team of the week in the Premier League last week, and he's bashing in the goals. But he spent like 4 months injured.
Right. Okay.
So no, we've got a few candidates for like who, and this is the longest answer to the question ever. But
No, that's all right. That's good.
There's also been loads of, there's loads of periods in the season where there haven't really been that many outstanding performers. We've struggled for large periods.
But that's always a good. But you just mentioned quite a few players. I guess that's always a good sign when you're a bit sort of like stuck on who it might be, because there's a few contenders. It's about. I think when we came 8th 2 seasons in a row a couple of years ago, and if you'd have said who's our player of the season, it would have been like no idea.
That's the thing, isn't it? I guess like they've all played their part, and I think the whole point of this season really, and I think maybe looking back, the narrative of the season will be that unity and like just keeping like strong mentally kept us up.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like from the outside. There have been some good performers, but what seems like most impressive is that given everything that's happened at the club, all the transitions, is that we still look so together and united. And positive. It just seems so positive, which is really good. Really good to see. Yeah.
Maybe the player of the season could be the 12th man.
That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So nauseating.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's I am nervous for the next match, and it's being against you. How many goals have you scored this season? 83 or something?
Yeah, I've got the table here. I've just got it up on my phone. 83. You're right. You've done your research on this one.
Yeah, I've done bits and pieces. Yeah. So it feels like a cup final. We can still stay up if we lose, which takes, given our league position, which takes a thread of pressure off. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game.
I think it's going to be a good game. Yeah, and I'm looking at the table. I think you guys, you're on 34, aren't you? I'm thinking, 36 would do it? Do you think 2 draws or 1 win?
Yeah, I've listened to so many different calculations and so many theories and so many different sort of prophecies and things like that, and it's like what Steve Cooper said the other day was just like you literally can't do anything other than just focus on the match ahead. Like you just got to look after your performance.
That's it.
Leeds could win, Leicester could win easily. The likelihood is they won't. Their form's been dreadful. Leicester look dead and buried.
They do.
But Southampton beat Arsenal. No, Southampton drew with Arsenal. So
nearly beat us, though. Yeah, but also mad things happen, don't they, in the last couple of games, because
exactly.
Not everyone's got something to play for, and I guess what you really want is teams with nothing to play for, and I guess you've kind of got Arsenal at home, Palace away, hard games on paper, but not really teams with anything to play for now, which is positive.
It is positive. That's what I'm positive about. And I think, I want you to disagree with me maybe, but
okay.
I have a feeling we're going to be up against a kind of deflated Arsenal.
Yeah, I think my thinking tomorrow is that I think, as I say, I think he's going to play the best team because I think that it's still mathematically possible. So he will play his best team. But I think we're really struggling with the players that we're missing as well. So no Saliba, no Zinchenko, Partey's been completely out of form. That's basically three of our best players, three of our most important players this season.
Martinelli as well.
And Martinelli's injured. Got another one. Yeah. So I think it's going to be. Looking from an Arsenal perspective, I can see us, not perhaps being quite deflated, and also it's going to be, you guys are going to be up for it. The crowd's going to be like really loud. I think it's going to be a really, really difficult game for us. And if you had to push me, I'd probably say that you will get something out of the game, and I think it might be a draw. I don't know what you think, and also is a draw good for you or not really?
No, a draw's good. I think you have to take a point against Arsenal. I can see us scoring. Definitely see us scoring, but then it's not like we've been tight at the back and we're playing a team who scored 83 goals. So it's got a good game written all over it. I think there'll be quite a few goals. It's not going to be 0-0. So I'm just trying to look forward to it, really. I just think it's going to be a good game.
And I guess I'd probably go for something like a 2-2 or something like that. I think at this stage, but I mean, I guess as well for you guys, you can't from a Forest perspective, you can't go down, like you can't lose it all. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to get relegated even if you lose at the weekend. But I would say a win you'd probably be almost safe, right? If you win.
Yeah. And you know what? I think if you push me, I think we might get a result.
Yeah.
I think the atmosphere at the City Ground is going to be raucous. I think it's going to be hostile for you guys. There's a possibility that you guys actually respond to that and react to that, because Arteta's got that kind of steeliness about him where he'll sort of rally his team. But I just feel like that it's going to be. I think it's got the feel of it being a special night at the City Ground.
When you say a result, what do you mean?
I meant a win. I meant
a win. Okay.
Because the way we played the last sort of 4 games, if it wasn't for conceding 2 goals in the last sort of couple of minutes against Brentford, we would have won 3 of our last 4 games. That would have been our form. We've been playing well. We've dug ourselves out of trouble. We're looking like a good team, and the way the City Ground feels at the moment, I just always fancy us to get a result. We convincingly beat Brighton at home. Convincingly.
Good result. Yeah. Let's see. And you've beaten us the last not just out of the FA Cup twice in a few years.
I know. I look at those slightly differently. I don't know why. But you're right. It counts for something. But we'll see. And I'm looking forward to catching up post-match. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. The first time that Come On You Reds, the first time that Come On You Reds derby, right?
I know, and I'm pretty sure that the 6 people that have viewed our podcast so far are chomping at the bit to get the sort of the lowdown. But,
yeah, sure.
Right, do you want to try this quiz then?
Yeah, let's go for it, mate. Let's go for it. I've got 4 as well.
Cool.
So we've been starting off with 2 home and 2 away, right?
Yeah. So home questions will be, I'll ask you an Arsenal-based question, and you ask me a Nottingham Forest-based question.
Yeah.
And then the 2 away can be anything like general knowledge or sport, whatever, just general knowledge. 2 points for an away question, 1 point for a home question.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Who wants to go first?
I'll ask you. I'll ask you a home question.
Yeah.
So this is Arsenal trivia.
Let's go. And by the way, this might have a this could have a bearing on tomorrow, couldn't it? Whichever this could have a bearing on tomorrow's game. Whoever wins this.
Do you mean like the old octopus before the World Cup?
Yeah. Exactly like that.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna have to win this now. All right. Right. Question 1. Testing your Arsenal-based knowledge. This could be an absolute gimme for you. I've got no idea. I found it interesting. On the official Arsenal crest, the motto Victoria Concordia Crescit is inscribed. But what does the other motto state, which is contained within a smaller crest on the crest itself?
Jesus, what? Say that again?
Right, okay. I didn't read it very well. This is
No,
a really...
right.
I don't know why I fucking chose this one. On the official Arsenal crest, the motto Victoria Concordia Crescit is inscribed.
Right.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
But what does the other motto state, which is contained within a smaller crest on the crest itself?
Which is contained in a smaller crest on the crest itself. Wow, mate, I've got no idea other than I know what Victoria Concordia Crescit means. So I wonder if it's that, because that's like Latin or something, I think. So I mean, I'm just going to say. So is it like one of the old crests or one of the old badges? Because our current crest just has Arsenal and a cannon, and that's all.
I need to just check that I've read the question correctly. So bear with me 2 seconds.
Just see your cat's eyes.
Can you?
Yeah, on the screen.
Can you still see me or not?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can see the cat in the corner.
I can't find the question. Yeah, apparently. So basically, on your club crest.
Yeah.
Where's team's gone now?
I think it would probably be the old one, probably.
Maybe it's the old one. Maybe I found. But on the club crest, you've got a motto.
Okay.
Then there's another motto,
Christ,
which is contained within a smaller crest on the crest itself.
Yeah.
It's like a Russian doll thing.
So I'm just going to go for, I don't know. So I'm just going to go Victoria Concordia Crescit. That means victory through harmony. So I'm just going to say that.
No, it says Deus per omnia.
Really?
DEUSPEROMNIA.
Any idea what that means?
No idea, mate. No.
Wow, you've got me there, mate. That is an amazing question.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into this now, just see what it means and stuff. Did you get that from the Arsenal website?
Yeah, I just found Arsenal trivia questions. Yeah.
Really good. Should I go next?
Yeah. Crap far away. I get so nervous for this.
I think you're probably going to know this one. This one's probably quite simple, but let's see. Who was Notts Forest's top goal scorer last season?
That's actually quite a good question. I hope it's not a trick, but I'm going to go with Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because Lewis Grabban got a few early doors. So,
who did?
Lewis Grabban.
Oh, Lewis Grabban.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's the guy that knocked us out of the FA Cup as well. I think was it Grabban?
Yeah, you know what? He's a good Championship player. That's never done it at Premier League.
Yeah.
Thing. Right. Second question about Arsenal.
Yeah.
Who were Arsenal sponsored by in the 2000 to 2001 season?
2000, 2001, so that would have been about probably just after JVC, just before O2. Dreamcast, I think.
Very well done.
Yeah, come on.
I thought that was quite a nifty question because I think Sega and Dreamcast, you were sponsored by Sega around the same time as well.
I think it was the same thing. I think it was the Sega Dreamcast. I think it was the same. So we had Dreamcast on the home one, Sega on the away one.
Ah, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Right, I thought they were different seasons. Yeah, that's a classic kit. Classic.
Yeah, it is. Good question. Good question. I've got one here now actually. So maybe it's quite a hard one, but basically it relates to the last time Forest played Arsenal at the City Ground in the Prem, quite a long time ago. What did Ron Atkinson do the last time Forest played Arsenal at home in the league? So he sort of did something which is quite.
He went to the wrong dugout.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah, he went to the dugout. Yeah.
Classic. You know, I was at that game.
You were at that game?
Yeah. First season, I went to watch Arsenal. Yeah, for that game.
So you were at the City Ground?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you did expect a bit of City Ground. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
true. Yeah, I can't remember that much about it, but it's only about 8. But yeah, I think it started snowing or like hailstones. It was like horrible weather.
That sounds
yeah.
Cool. All right. So what's that then? 1-1. No, 2-1.
Yeah.
2-1 to me.
2-1 to you. Yeah.
So far.
Now we're moving on to the aways.
Yeah. Okay. Right. First away question. Staying on sport. How many darts world titles has Phil Taylor won?
Oh my God. I've got no idea. Phil Taylor, I know he's won a lot. The power. How many world titles has he won? 6.
You'll be amazed. I was amazed. He's won 16.
16?
16.
Fucking hell.
No, it's almost like it's almost funny.
Yeah, that's like Rafael Nadal dominance at the French Open.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's so well. Wow, 16.
In hindsight, that's a really tough question. I would be really impressed if you knew that. So. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go for my one now. So, on for capital city again. So, what is the capital of Turkey?
Is this trick though? Is this trick? Well, Istanbul. It's not, is it? It's a trick.
It's a proper trick one, that one, yeah. Sorry, mate. Any second guesses or?
Well, I want to say Constantinople, but I think that's what Istanbul used to be called, I think.
Yeah, I think that might be what Istanbul used to be called.
No, what is the capital?
It's Ankara or Ankara.
Ankara.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
you love
one. I always think Istanbul with that one, always.
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Very good question. All right. I don't know how good you are with these sort of questions, but your second away question.
It's 2-1 to you, isn't it? Sorry, please. I need this to overtake you going into your final question.
Basically, if you get this wrong, I've won.
You've won. Yeah.
And then basically, my question is just to basically extend away.
Yeah.
What is the Japanese drink sake made from?
I've had it before. I know that you can have it hot or cold. I don't like it. It tastes weird.
That's not what I asked you.
It literally just tastes like stale lager. but it can't be. That can't be the. I don't actually know what it's made from. But sake. I'm just going to say lager, but it's not.
No, it's made from rice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that rings a bell now. I should have known that.
Yeah.
I've been to Tokyo as well,
Ah, okay.
but yeah, clearly didn't know
It's one
that.
of those questions. Are you a bit? But I thought you might get it because the other day you said you were making yourself a risotto. So I thought he might be a bit of a foodie. Right. But
I like eating food, but yeah, should have got it. Should have got that one. I'm disappointed with that. Now I'm going to come away from this quiz feeling a bit disappointed in myself.
no, well, that's what happened to me last few times we've done this. But
Yeah.
right, this is my chance to extend away, get a bit of a lead. So 2-1 to me.
2-1 to you. Yes,
It's 4-1.
The icing on the cake. Okay, bit of a politics question.
Oh, fucking hell.
Who was? You might know. Who was the last Labour Prime Minister?
Again, I don't know if this is another Turkey trick question, but I'm fairly sure it was Gordon Brown.
Yeah, well done, mate. Yeah, Gordon Brown. That's 4-1 to you.
I felt strong. I felt strong today.
You did, didn't you? You answered those, yeah.
I felt switched on. Clarity of mind. Yeah.
Well, it's the first quiz we've done post mindfulness, mate. Post mindfulness retreat.
Yeah, post mindfulness, and I've got in the habit of doing these like rosemary steams every morning.
Ah.
So I like do a steam in a bowl of boiling water, and I add some rosemary essential oils, and it's really good for stimulating your mind.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that's made a bit of a difference. But
give away one of your tricks.
One of my hacks, mate.
Well done, mate.
Yeah,
but yeah,
good to chat.
I'm disappointed with that, but it was it's been fun. But I'm a bit 4-1. I can't believe it. Doesn't feel good. I didn't anticipate it feeling this bad, losing this quiz.
I don't know. I feel bad for asking you to have known how many world titles Phil Taylor had won. I'm going to gloss over the fact you thought sake was made of lager. I'm just going to gloss over. You've had better moments. You've had better moments than that. It wasn't shocking.
It tastes of lager, though, right? It tastes of lager.
But even lager's made of hops and barley.
Yeah, true.
Anyway. Yeah, so I guess the next time we talk will be post Forest Arsenal.
Yeah.
Either Forest to be safe virtually, or Arsenal will be fully out of the running.
Or we might win and City might lose, and the title race goes on for another game week.
Yeah.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm just imagining now in my head that happens, and then what we're doing now just becomes this cult podcast that follows this mad journey. But anyway,
Yeah.
No. Anyway, we'll leave it there. But yeah, it's good to catch up, man, and we'll catch the 6 viewers next week.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, hopefully I'll still get the same amount. I might fuck up some courage to circulate it for around a couple more people.
Yeah, I'll try and do the same, but I won't be too loud yet.
Yeah.
We're still finding our feet, but that was fun. That was good.
It was brilliant. All right, I'll just stop the recording then. Cool. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Yeah. See you next time.
See you next time.
See you soon.